Do-do-do-do. Doing office things, stapling the things, paper clips and hole punches, and isn't office wonderful when you're on your own doing office things?
Hey, Office Farley, what are you doing? Why are you
Office,
in on this bank holiday?
Office Richie, I never thought you'd see me like this, not in my suit, in my slightly casual wear.
Yeah,
Um,
but why are you wearing pink jogging bottoms and cat ears?
well, although it's the bank holiday, I thought I'd come in and catch up on some various office-based work. For
Okay.
example, I printed out these big stickers with the name of the website on. Can you read it from there? I was wondering if they're big enough or not.
Yeah,
Can you read?
WWE.
Can you read what that says?
That guy's .co.uk.
Yeah, and the
Yeah.
first three letters.
www.
Okay, great. I
Yeah,
also
yeah.
got these window stickers printed out. Can you imagine that was in your front window? Would you be able to, from the street, would you be able to see the socials thing tag?
You mean that little stickers which has like three different icons? One of them's Twitter, one of them's
Yeah.
YouTube, and one
Yeah.
of them's Instagram.
Yeah, that's right.
And then just above it, you've got like an @ symbol, and then that guy's a maniac, which is
Okay,
all
great, yeah.
one word and it's all
Yeah.
lowercase. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. I think it's a really, really good sticker.
Okay. Well, I was just in on the bank holidays, just sorting all this stuff out to do a big mail out to the readers. And I thought it's quiet. I can get a little bit more done. Listen to a podcast. Obviously, not that Guy's a Maniac podcast, the good one. What are you doing on a bank holiday?
I was gonna take a shit on Stakeholder Farley's desk. You into
Oh,
it?
okay. Well, yeah. I mean, don't let me stop you.
Cool, awesome. But do you know what reminds me? Reminds me.
This is how it reminds me.
This is how it reminds me. They should really do a Pokemon episode.
God. Segue. End segue.
And fucking segue, that's awful. Okay.
Can't believe it took us hours of scripting for that.
Yeah, it's not like we just ad-libbed it right
Makes
then
no
and there.
sense. I was
Can't wait for
working-
season 2
Oh
to
my
finish.
god, it was right there. Hang on. We're going to be talking about Pokemon Bank, and then that was a bank holiday.
Oh. Okay.
Alright.
Yeah, that
we'll
really
edit
was
that in.
just there.
Let's splice that in later.
Later? Really?
Yeah. Using Hollywood magic.
Holiday magic. Bank holiday magic.
Using bank holiday magic. We'll retcon the awful intro to this podcast that it actually makes
Yeah.
sense. Welcome to That Guy's a Maniac podcast. We talk about video games. It's probably not apparent at all from that intro. And today we are talking Pokemon bullshit just because there's so much of it.
so
and
much
it means something.
Pokemon stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right, so where do we even start? Right, let's just get the bank stuff out of the way, because you care more than I do about bank.
I do. So, recently, and this was kind of anticipated, but it's nice that it's actually there. Nintendo announced that they're winding down their Nintendo 3DS and Wii U stuff. So they've done it for other platforms in the past. And now what that means is for both of those platforms, if there's a game you want to download that's only available on there, if there's DLC for 3DS games, now's your chance to get it. And I think they're shuttering it on March 2023. You'll no longer be able to purchase or download games. You probably will be allowed to download stuff you've already got. But that got us a little bit worried in That Guy's a Maniac Towers, because Pokemon Bank is a Nintendo 3DS app that you pay a subscription for, and it is currently a massive Pokemon bridge between the old games going back to Pokemon Ruby and Pokemon Sapphire and the GBA, all the way through to Pokemon Home. And so, fortunately, it's been confirmed that Pokemon Bank isn't going anywhere for a while. It will become free to use, so you won't have to pay specifically for it. But I think you have to have the premium home account, I think, in order to access it. So, yeah, good news. Bad news and good news. And yeah, kind of really interested that they're keeping it going. Because I think Masuda, in an interview, has said that one of his biggest regrets is when they kind of broke the continuity with Pokemon in between the Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games.
Yeah.
So you could transfer between Gold, Silver, Red, Blue, Yellow, Green in Japan. But then they kind of hit the reset button when it came to Ruby Sapphire. But it has made me, consequently, it has made me think, I should really tidy up all the shit from the old games in a way that I really care about, in a way that I don't think you care about at all.
At all, in any fashion whatsoever. So just the context for why I don't care about this at all is Pokemon Home came out. There was a facility to transfer everything from Bank. I did that. I no longer have anything in Bank. I don't care about any of the old games. And I have everything I need in Home. And that was it, really. You, however, need to do lots of things, such as...
Yeah, so my this started as a idly thinking, you know what, I think I did quite a good job when I was playing through all those Pokemon games in making sure I kind of did everything that there was to do. So for me that includes catching all the legendaries, so that's Pokemon you can only get once per game, getting all the ribbons and items, and then something that perhaps I'm more interested than most is doing all the in-game trades. So various games, with one exception, allow you to do trades with non-playable characters.
So basically you'll get a Pokemon back, a Chansey with somebody else's name as the original trainer on it.
Yeah. And in many games, particularly the older ones, there'll be Pokemon that are really, really hard to get or impossible to get otherwise. So certainly outside of Japan, it was like the only way to get Mr. Mime, I think, and Lickitung. And so what's cool is they have this particular what's called an OT, which is the original trainer name, and a number after it. And so I thought I'd done quite a good job at doing all the in-game trades, and then I keep those in-game traded Pokemon in a separate place somewhere. And there's some cool stuff like you can trade a Pokemon with Diantha, who's the champion in one of the generations. You can get Pokemon off Brock, Pokemon off Jasmine. You can get all of N's Pokemon in Black 2, White 2. Essentially fun Pokemon NFTs that you can only get once in game. So I thought I'll have a little look. Opened up Home, hit Cerebi, looking at these in-game trades, and not only had I not done a particularly good job, I just missed loads and loads and loads of them. Then I thought I'd have a check of the legendaries as well, so that ended up with a huge spreadsheet of which legendaries can you get in each game. Do I have them currently in Home? And there was loads that I'd missed, some of which are impossible to get now. So if you remember in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, there was all that flying around bullshit.
Yeah.
Where if you caught Tornadus and then somebody playing the other version of the game caught Thundurus, and then you had both of those in your party at level 100 with maximum friendship and fly around, Landorus would appear. So you had to have specific legendaries from the other game, which I didn't do because I think I transferred them all out. So probably about 2 days of me putting together a massive spreadsheet, and filling it out and color coding it with what I need, and then planning the best way to transfer up, starting with the GBA games, going via Colosseum because there's crap on Colosseum which I completely missed, including some really convoluted nutty stuff that was
Okay, give us an example of one of the Colosseum things.
Colosseum's fairly straightforward, but the Pokemon that you purify. So that game's all about snagging Pokemon. So capturing.
So you battle trainers, and then you can save the shadow Pokemon from Team Rocket people.
Yeah, you snag them using a special ball that the protagonist has, some ball throwing arm, and then you have to purify them, which takes a lot of time. But each of the ones that you do purify has a special ribbon. The only way you can get this ribbon is through purifying Pokemon. I think I've got all of those. I think there are some in my Pokemon Ranch, so I need to find and save them. But then in XD, the sort of sequel, expansion, companion game, you could catch wild Pokemon in this really rubbish mechanic where they introduced 3 spots, they're called Poké Spots, and then you buy some stuff, looks like Trivial Pursuit cheeses.
Okay.
And you put these cheeses down. Yeah, you put these wedges down, and then over time, as you're running around in the world, you'll get like a little buzz on your PDA to say, "Oh, there's a Pokemon at this cave spot." And I think there's like 3 or 4 Pokemon per thing, and there's 3 which are common, 1 which is really rare. And there's a guy in the game who will trade you all 3 rare Pokemon. So one is a Surskit. Apparently, is the rare. And you get a Shuckle in return. And at the time, the only other way to get Shuckle was Colosseum, I think. So I started doing that, and bearing in mind I had to remember that those spots existed, where you get the cheeses to put in the spot, where the guy is who wants to trade, to check to see that I haven't traded him. And then there's a 4th trade, so there's 3 of those, 1 per spot, and then there's a 4th trade where some guy has a Togepi, which he gives to you, like a dark Togepi, and then you purify it. And if you trade it to him, if you trade it to him at a certain time, he'll give you a Elekid with some cool moves. And if you trade it to him doing something slightly different, he'll give you an Elekid, which is not as good. Or you can keep your Togepi, because it's the only way you can get this Togepi in the game. So I need to check what I did, because I can't find the Togepi.
So which one do you want?
I think probably the Elekid, actually.
Okay.
Because then it's done. Yeah. And there's so many gift tokens. Anyway, so this is what I've been doing. So whilst you've been enjoying the brand new Pokemon game, which is extremely good, I've been, hooking up my GBA to my GameCube. Like my GBA doesn't work anymore on battery, so I have this but not first party AC adapter.
Yeah, that plugs into USB.
That plugs into the mains. And then it replaces your battery thing. So I have to string that across the room. So you've got plug to GBA, then GBA to GameCube, with a game in it. Turning that on, fortunately we've still got a TV which has a SCART cable in it. And I'm playing Fire Red and XD at the moment. And the reason why I'm doing this, is because I'd wanted to do it for a while. Didn't think I had much to do. And although it seems like Bank's going to be around for quite a while and free to play, which is great. Free to play if you're paying for their other subscription service. It's something I want to do particularly before the service gets cut off, because at some point they will. But also whilst the hardware still works. So there was a moment when I dug out the GBA and the cable and the GameCube, turned the GameCube on, and it made a very grindy noise. Yeah, I know. If that fails, I've still got the Wii, which plays GameCube games, so there's like a backup option. I just want to clear out Fire Red Sapphire. There's a particular ribbon you can only get in Colosseum and XD, and it's really laborious to do. You have to do 100 battles in a row without, in the battle tower, which is quite easy to do because it starts off with Pokemon at level 9,
I know,
and it
but
goes-
that's one of the most heartbreaking things. Is like, right, okay, enter the battle, do the animation, right? The animation, okay, you're doing the thing. You've done a move. Oh, you've done a move before me. You've done a quick attack or something, right? Okay, now I'm gonna kill you. Overpowered, ridiculous move. You're gonna do your death animation, right? Okay, you're gonna say goodbye, blah blah blah, and then you do that for at least the first 50 before it gets anywhere near slightly worrying or challenging. In any fashion.
Yeah, well, this is what I thought. So I went to Fire Red, and there was some which I had already traded, but then a whole bunch that weren't. So it's the proper ragtag team. I've got a Voltorb called E-Sphere, a Mr. Mime, a Farfetch called Chiding, a female Nidoran, a Nidorina, this new Shuckle, and I think there's one, a Tangler, right? So a team no one would ever put together. Really low level, because most of these in-game trades are quite low level. And when I'd done this battle tower before, I was like, oh no, it's quite easy because you...
Just a quick pause on
Yeah.
there. The Farfetch called Chiding is another trainer. Exchange.
Yes.
Trade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all of these are in-game trades.
All right. Okay. Cool. Sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know why I remember that.
Yeah.
So weird.
You must have done it. You might still have a Farfetch called Jiding rattling around. That will be from Leaf Green or Fire Red.
Okay. Cool.
So you've got this ragtag team of in-game traded Pokemon, and I remembered the battle tower in Colosseum and XD not being that difficult because it starts really easy. You get loads of XP. Anyway, so I got to the fourth area, and it started to get a little bit challenging, and I was under-leveled despite the experience boost for being traded Pokemon. Then this Pokemon Spot notification went off, and I hadn't read the rules properly, so I went off to, suspended my journey and went off to get them. Anyway, apparently that breaks the sequence, and I have to do it again.
Oh my god.
Yeah, for these things. So yeah, that's what I'll be doing. And then the other thing which has driven me crazy, as much as people complained about Pokemon Sword and Shield, virtually nobody's complaining about Arceus, as much as I can see. These games used to be so brutal. So it's the trying to get the roaming dog on Fire Red. Don't know if you remember these at all.
Yeah, I remember them from Red as well, but yeah, I think, was it not something like it carried on, so you would only ever get a chance to maybe do a little bit of damage. If you killed it, it was gone. It was no longer in the game.
Yeah.
But you could do a little bit of damage and it would disappear, or you could throw a Pokeball and hope for the best. But actually tracking it down was impossible because you couldn't physically, you could look where it was in the map, and by the time you would fly to it, it would move away from that square.
Yeah. So
that section, yeah.
So at a certain point in the game, you don't get all three legendary dogs. You get the one that complements your starter. So I must have started with Squirtle because this is Raikou, the electric dog. And it starts roaming, so it's randomly running around. And at the first point, whilst it's first unlocked, that's just after you do the Elite Four, you have no idea that it exists in the wild. So randomly, you'll bump into it once, and then that means it will appear on your Pokedex, which means you can track it. And using the Pokedex in Fire Red is so slow. You have to go to your menu, go to the Pokedex, scroll all the way down to 243, press A again to see the data, and you'll see where it is, right? And it doesn't remember your position in the Pokedex.
No.
Every time you check, you have to do that. So you see where it is, and then, as you've remembered, it will randomly jump around if you fly to it, if you go into a building, I think if you save, and if you change routes too many times, I think.
Yeah. So if you move, I remember the technique for how to get and find him, and it was very expensive. So you put on max repels, which would take away any of the wild Pokemon. So the only ones that you would encounter are the tiger, the legendary dog, and I think it's actually outside the daycare centre. You have a big strip of grass that actually takes you down through different screens. And basically you just keep riding up and down between those screens in the hope that at one point it will be in one of those patches of grass.
Yeah.
And I did that. Yeah, not nice.
Yeah. It's just heartbreaking because sometimes it appears. Sometimes I've not looked too much into.
It's like the best use for the Master Ball. That's like just.
I know. I don't have it, and I think because the other thing you can do in those two games in Fire Red, Leaf Green, Ruby and Sapphire is you can transfer your items away. So I've got nothing in Fire Red, and I don't think it's in Sapphire, right? Maybe it is. So I could laboriously transfer it all through Colosseum. So, I went to my bag, it's empty. I went to my training card, I've got like no money. I look at the Pokemon I've got left and it's just total trade fodder, right? Zubats and Zigzagoons, nothing. So I am not equipped for this. And then apparently I'd already seen it because I could see it on the Pokedex. And yeah, first time I bumped into it and it was still at full health. And I thought, okay, do I chance it with a Pokeball? So I threw it Ultra Ball. Obviously, it didn't catch it. And then I was like, okay, this is taking me 2 hours to get to see it once, and I've just wasted an opportunity. Yeah.
I
have to knock it down. And then that's like, okay, because Raikal's really fast. In fact, it's the fastest of the legendary dogs. I have a HM Slave Pidgey who's at level 49, which is exactly what you want for the Max Repel because it's level 50.
Okay.
And it has quick attack. So
perfect. Yeah.
I spent another 3 hours getting it to spawn again. After just painfully checking the Pokedex. Oh, it's over there. Checking the Pokedex. It's over there. Checking the Pokedex. I was very close, but I can't go to it because then it will move. Eventually got it again. Did quick attack, and took off maybe an eighth of its life. And then the other thing, because I was like, okay, maybe I can catch a Wobbuffet or a Doug Trio with Arena Trap. But there was a bug, and I don't think they fixed it, because they fixed some things with when you connected them to GameCube games, where if you trap it and it uses the move Roar, so the move Roar essentially ends the battle by scaring your Pokemon, you can never catch it.
Yeah, it would be the same as a KO sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I remember something about that as well. Like, don't use the Arena Trap. I remember that.
Yeah.
Something. Yeah. So. Yeah, I would say. I remember, and this is very slowly coming back. I think I was watching. I would just be like watching Coronation Street or something like that.
Yeah.
And I would just sit with the GBA. And I would just scroll up and down, up and down, until there was a point where the legendary dog appeared.
Yeah. Frustrating. And so I don't want to throw myself too hard into getting the ribbon on XD and the in-game trades, and then shifting over to Sapphire and getting all the contest ribbons to do with the in-game trades. Because ideally I want Raikou to then drag that through the tower. Whereas if I do everything with the other 6 and then transfer them to Diamond and continue the journey, and then come back, and then I've just got a single Raikou that I have to somehow drag through the 100 battle tower, a single Raikou to do the Sapphire battle tower challenge. I just can't fight, and I just can't believe we used to put up with that. Nowadays it's like, hey, hop online, go to your Max Dynamax raid thingy, and at the end you're guaranteed a legendary, and you can catch it in whatever ball you want as long as you knock it down. Hey, and there we go. Have 25 guaranteed legendaries. You don't have to do any of this. And then after that,
a bunch of rare candies for funds as well.
Yeah, and also you've probably got 8 Master Balls, and if you want, you could do it with a team of Raikous to catch a Raikou. And then also I'm playing Pokemon Diamond, Brilliant Diamond as well in between, and that has this new area at the end of it called Ramanas Park, which is basically like, hey, here's a cartridge, go and fight and catch all the legendaries from every single game. So yeah, a little bit pointless, and even I am seeing like, do I need this Raikou?
No, because you can't transfer off of Diamond.
Yeah, you can.
To where? Oh, home.
You can transfer up to Heart Gold, Soul Silver, Black, White 2. Yeah, all the way through.
Sorry. I thought you were meaning Shining Diamond and Brilliant Pearl.
Not yet. No.
No.
But it's coming, I think.
Okay. Cool.
So that's my bullshit. Playing 20-year-old Pokemon games and just feeling really, and then which I guess we could start talking about Arceus. Then I come back to Arceus and oh my god, everything is just quick and happens.
Yes, and it's
fun. It's fun. It's fun and it's easy and it's not grindy. But there is a tiny bit of me that appreciates the grind. If I do this,
No, I know what you mean. It's like you've earned it a little bit more.
Yeah, unlike all these other cheap slag legendaries that I've given away.
Yeah.
I mean, ultimately it's gonna sit in a box.
Yeah,
they
I know.
all will.
Yes, and there'll be a point maybe in 10 years' time where you think, did I get this, or do I even need trainer codes anymore? Because there was a point where you needed trainer codes for, was it
the lottery?
X and Y? Yeah, for the lottery.
Yeah, you still have the lottery in Sword and Shield.
Oh, do you? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
There you go. Shows you how much I use it.
Yeah, no, I'm almost guaranteed first or second place in the OTs of my thingy.
That's cool.
Fun.
Yeah, of course. You can make 1 million more just by doing GTS trades as well.
Yeah. So I've been doing that as well because I've been trying to fill out a perfect deck. But I'll talk about that another time.
Yeah.
What's your Pokemon bullshit?
My Pokemon bullshit is I have finished, not completed, Pokémon Arceus Legends.
Now, let's talk about that game.
Yes, absolutely. I am a little bit ahead of you, so I don't want to spoiler you in any fashion. Okay. So there is endgame. There's so much endgame to that game as well.
Yeah, well, if you're looking at the if you've organised your Pokemon boxes, as I know you definitely haven't, because
I have not. I have definitely got one box that is half Happiny, and the rest is some Rapidash and. I'll take some pictures for you.
Oh, please don't.
Yeah.
I've just spent days meticulously moving everything around in home, and then I took one of your boxes. Anyway, if you've been keeping your boxes in order,
box, you'll love this one.
Yeah.
First box has got all of the like Shinkses and Starlies.
Yeah.
But because the first box is one of the ones that appears,
I've
put a legendary in there in the first spot as well. Just to really ugly it up. I'm not saying about legendary Farley because you don't know what one it is.
Because when you finish that game, and you catch the box legend, well, not the box legendary, another legendary. If you have arranged your boxes in Pokemon order, leaving spaces, there's loads of spaces between those and the other ones that you catch. So, lots to do.
Yeah.
This game. But generally speaking, we did do a podcast wildly speculating about what it was going to be. I think, thank God there are game developers who don't listen to us because they've put together a really good game.
Yeah, really, really, really good game. It's and it's so well received as well. It's like this is definitely the Pokemon game that I have enjoyed the most. Probably since. Actually, probably Sun and Moon. So it's not that much. More than Sword and Shield, put it that way.
Yeah. And what's really interesting is I've not seen, probably because I've been playing Pokemon Fire Red and Legends Arceus in between, anywhere near the same level of noise as there was about Sword and Shield, despite the fact that many of the complaints can be leveled. Right? There's no competitive. They've taken abilities out. They've taken items out. It's a tiny Pokedex. It doesn't look that good. I don't even remember all the nonsense about trees in Pokemon. And aside from, I've seen a few complaints about graphics. There's been none of that. I think, everyone's just really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, there was quite a few complaints about graphics. I think the number one complaint that people are saying is like, this is a GameCube game.
Yeah.
You know, and like,
I've just been playing a GameCube game, and I can tell you, fuck off.
Yeah, I know, fuck off. Like, it is absolutely not a GameCube game. It is. I get what they're saying in respect to certain things, like
when you're flying around and you look at a mountain and it's just a repeated texture over and over.
Yeah, it's not just that. It's like when you're flying towards a mountain and it looks like it's got a sort of grey mound, and then you get closer and then it becomes green, and then a tree appears. You're just like, oh, okay. Or again, you look far away and you see a Crobat, and it's just got this 1 frame a second wing going up and down. There are jarring graphical moments.
Well,
definitely.
we've not done Endgame yet. It might be explained by the fact that it is the Matrix.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
built on an N64. Sorry, to carry on about the game generally.
I don't know where I was going, but yeah, no, I think it's been so much fun to play that, and I think I was starting to get really tired and bored of battling.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically, that's what stopped me finishing Pokemon Let's Go, just because it was just a non-stop battle slog, and I just didn't care for the opening. Oh, I'm gonna beat you with my thing. God, that sounds horrible. Yeah. And then this person will throw out. You'll see the animation. You'll do an attack, and then you'll defeat the Pokemon, and then you'll get the losing animation. Oh, I didn't defeat you with my thing. And then you go back to it, and then you just do that again ad infinitum, and it was really grating on me. I really like the aspect of, if you want to battle a Pokemon, to try and maybe guarantee it, like you found a shiny, so you battle it so that you can whittle it down so that you can then throw a ball. Do it. But if it's just a bog standard Pokemon looking for your Weasel that's over 2.8 meters or whatever it is, then fucking throw the Pokeballs at it and walk away, sort of thing,
Yeah.
And I love that aspect of just like crouching down in the grass and then fucking all the Pokeballs. Yeah.
It is because I was before this. Maybe it's still my favorite. What I liked about Pokemon Sword and Shield, which I ended up pushing 1,000 hours in it, and I'm still playing it on and off, is I still felt like there was stuff to do. Whereas, because recently, off the back of Nintendo announcing the closure of the 3DS and Wii U, there was a thing you could do if you logged into your My Nintendo account, where it kind of gave you your 3DS memories and your Wii U memories, telling you what your top 3 played games were, how many games you played in total, all that stuff. And so on the 3DS, surprise, surprise, mine was Pokemon X and Y, then Pokemon Ultra Sun, then Pokemon Moon. 300 to 400 hours each. But I think, as you said before, most of that time, particularly in those games, was running up and down on a bike, up and down a route, hatching eggs, basically. And in Pokemon Sword, virtually none of the 1,000 hours has been that. And then at the moment in Arceus, I'm about 100 hours in. It's almost like sometimes I go, okay, I'm just going to go and do this, right? I need to farm some stuff to make some Pokeballs, and at the same time, I'll maybe try and improve this guy's Pokedex entry. And within 4 minutes of walking out into the route, I've seen something which I'm going to chase. Oh, there's a satchel there. Oh, there's a distortion that's appeared. Oh, I should catch that. Oh, actually, if I see it,
it's exactly like our review. It's the side quest stuff. It's the same vibes that I get from Fallout 4, where it's just like, I'm gonna go and do some main plot. Oh shit, my settlement's under attack. Oh wait a minute, I've found a new building. I wonder if they've got any shit in there.
Yeah,
you know, and yeah, it's that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, and so 100 hours in, and I'm still spend hours on the first area, just going roving around. And oh, there's a rare spawn. There's a thing. Oh, I'm still missing 2 wisps here. There's unknown to keep your eyes out for. So it's just been constant action and distraction.
Yeah, it's like when you launch that game, you go in with any kind of plan. You just know that plan's going out the window immediately. Yeah. It takes a lot of discipline to stick to the plan, and that's a big thing,
Yeah, it does. Oh, and one of the things we mentioned on the previous podcast, which they've done so well, is how fun is it going to be to just catch and catch and catch and catch, because you have to fill out your Pokédex. And the answer is really fun.
Yeah.
A number of little things they did. One is as you've already alluded to, it's so quick. You can be in a patch of grass and you walk up and there's, a cluster of 3 Geodudes, and before one of them's noticed you can pow pow pow, and before you've even waited to see whether you've caught them or not, you're throwing your guy out at a fruit tree. It's knocked a Combi out. You're just hoovering up these Pokemon.
One thing that I learned and loved is that you can have more than one Pokemon out at the same time. So if you find an ore, you can or find several ores, you can just do a chain of chuck out a Garchomp, chuck out Sylveon, chuck out Dialga, boom, 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 and they're all just grabbing the ore, and then you get them back in. Good fun.
Yeah. It's like, really just running across a route, strip mining of its resources by throwing a Pokemon at it. Who knew? I mean, one of the things that we saw a little bit of is the alpha Pokemon. Who knew how fun it would be to be like, oh, let's just have different sized Pokemon, really tiny ones.
I know.
To huge,
The downside is I can't not have alpha Pokemon on my team.
I've got a really, really, really tiny Octillery and a really, really big alpha Octillery, and the difference is hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, all of my Pokemon are ridiculously sized, except for Sylveon. It's just a tiny, tiny little cat dog.
Yeah, surrounded by these giants. Yeah, what a revelation! Just different size Pokemon that you can see in the field.
And it's so much fun as well, and just that fear when you've missed catching an alpha, and then he's sort of turning around and wandering away, but he's still looking over the shoulder at you at the same time with these big glowing red eyes. Oh, it's so cool. And then there's also the other fear of, oh wait a minute, it's evening. I need to catch this guy before nighttime falls, and he disappears for no good reason.
Yeah. Or the time distortion ends and these guys just vanish or something like that. It's super fun. I just want to play it all the time. Thoughts on the new Pokemon?
The new Hisuian Pokemon.
The forms as well as the actual new.
So obviously the Arceus forms of Dialga and Palkia. Is it Dialga and Palkia? Have you got your thing to tell me how they're pronounced?
Dialga, Palkia. Yeah.
Dialga. Dialga, Palkia.
Yeah.
Okay. They're quite cool. Although it's weird that Palkia he looks like a centaur, but he's had his arms cut off. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, they're both yeah.
I mean, Dialga already had like 4 legs. Now he's got weird sort of twisty back legs.
True, yeah.
But Palkia was sort of Godzilla-ish, so his little arms became legs, and where his shoulders are now, he's just got 2 big pads.
Yeah.
So it's kind of odd. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I hope there's an explanation for why they're so strange.
I mean, they just look Arceus-y, so I'm guessing it's Arceus forms, you know? Yeah. It is a game called Arceus Legends.
Yeah.
Arceus, sorry. Get it right.
What else did we get? So we got Ursaluna. So Ursaring finally got an evolution that it needed. I mean, it's okay. Normal and ground.
I still haven't actually evolved them yet. I don't know what item does it.
It's I mean, there's enough clues in the name, and if you look at Ursaluna.
Oh, is it Moonstone?
No, there's an item, and you also have to do it at a certain time.
Oh, right, okay. Oh, that's a shame.
And it took me ages to find and work out what that was. I was just okay. I had the item. I was fairly convinced. Okay, this is the item. And then periodically showing it to Ursaring. Like, now? Are you now? No. Okay, not interested. Now?
I did. The other one was Sneasler.
Oh yeah.
So I had the Razor Claw and I had a Sneasel, and I was like, yeah, this'll do, this'll work. Oh, it's not working. Why won't he fucking evolve?
Just rubbing a Sneasel with a Razor Claw. Like, come on.
Do it.
This used to work.
So yeah, I still need to work out a few of those things. I do see that Stantler has a weird deer evolution as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Scyther gets its.
Yeah, I found that one. It's just like, here's an Axie thing that looks identical to the axe that Cleavor has, and like, oh right, okay, well that's not too hard, is it? You know.
Let's talk about the real surprise. Is Quillfish got an evolution?
Yeah.
And it's amazing.
It's really cool. Yeah. What's it called? Quill. Overquill, yeah.
Which is a cool name as well.
Yeah, it is. Really, really cool. And it's got a narwhal horn for some mad reason.
Yeah. If you catch an alpha one, it's worth going to the photo studio because it basically just extends off the screen. You can't really see it.
Brilliant. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Although I have to say that catching water Pokemon is the least fun part of this game. Because like the whole jumping and pop, you just miss all the time with the Pokeballs, and they just hit the water around it. It's just become a bit of a waste. So I think water Pokemon, the only play is actually to battle them, which is quite cool because you get certain Pokemon that can float in the water and certain that can be above it and certain that just get a little pad that they have to fight from.
Yeah, annoyingly I've been grinding out Pokedex for a couple of water Pokemon and you have to catch them without being seen, and it's really difficult. So
that is awful. Yeah,
I've been using berries and smoke bombs to try and do it.
Ugh.
Yeah. Not guaranteed. So yeah, some good additions, and we haven't actually discussed this. We were theorizing, well, how come you don't get these Pokemon anymore? Why do these occur in the past and not today? All of them, and perhaps with the exception of Weirdeer, are explained away by, you have to do things you cannot do in any other region, or, as you said, use items that don't exist in other regions to do it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it doesn't explain why Zorua and Zoroark are just different, or Growlithe.
Yeah, but I think we explained away the forms, didn't we? By being precursors.
Yeah.
However, that is, of course, assuming this game is in the past, which I don't think it is.
Okay, why is that?
Because of this, I mean, we've spoiled worse, I guess. I think it's an alternate dimension. So the curveball that this game throws you is the entire time we were looking at all the teasers and trailers. It's like, oh, you're rocking around Edo period Japan, and within the first seconds of the game, you started as the girl, didn't you? Of course. Yep. Great. Yeah, I did as well. You come falling through a wormhole, dressed in
T-shirt and shorts. Yeah.
A Alolan. It's a specific outfit you can get in.
Yeah.
Alola. I think the boy has an outfit from Kalos, maybe.
Okay.
So yeah, and there are various characters who look like other characters from the Pokemon universe. Some of them are really subtle as well. So the farm guy is like the grass gym leader in Diamond and Pearl.
Oh, okay.
If you look at his face. There's so many weird ones. Once you've done with the game, I think it's worth looking up. Some of them are really obscure. And so they could be ancestors, but it doesn't really make any sense to be ancestors.
If people get thrown through different dimensions, you literally have the god of time as well that you capture. So I don't think it's too bad for it to go back in time or anything like that.
I just think it's a different dimension at the same time.
Yeah.
So not necessarily in the past or in your universe. And I'm not, because neither of us have done the end game. Maybe it's not even explained.
It definitely isn't.
I mean,
it definitely isn't. Sorry,
do you get a chance to go back?
It doesn't seem so. Like there is zero, unless.
Sorry, you're stuck here.
Unless when you finally catch Arceus,
yeah,
given its namesake, maybe he gives you the option or something like that. But again, to what avail? It's going to be a picture or something like that. You know,
if you say yes, send me home. It deletes the save file.
Yeah.
Kicks you to the menu screen. Story-wise, I mean, Pokemon games, story schmory. But it does some interesting things, and it has like a turn, which I want to talk to you about. Probably about like 2/3 of the way through. Unfortunately, and this has been a problem with a lot of recent Pokemon games, is it makes you feel like, oh, I'm near the end, and then strings it out massively.
I know what you're talking about, and I managed to batter through that whole sequence in about 2 hours.
But it's the kind of like,
yeah, I
need to go make dinner, but I think I'm near the end, so I'll just see it. Oh, you're here. Okay. Oh, I'm gonna have to go back and right. Okay. This is not gonna finish this before making dinner, am I?
Yeah, and then it's just like, oh shit, I just got 9 stars. Right, yeah. Great. Okay, I gotta go and talk to the guy.
Oh, and there's an alpha. So there's that, which I also felt with Sword and Shield was like, okay, I'm gonna fight the champion. Oh, okay, now I have to go and do this and run after this and chase it. But the turn that I'm talking about is essentially you fall out of the sky. You land in Jubilar City. People are quite distrustful of you. Well, they say they're distrustful, but then they kind of like pick all their important jobs and tasks and shit.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're really distrustful of Pokemon. But the turn that I really liked is when you get exiled and kind of shame walked out of the village.
Yes.
But then, and then I don't know. They didn't hold. It felt like they didn't hold their mettle. They could have really done more with that, I think. And then it basically feels like
I got that
later,
done. Like literally that whole bit I got done in an hour and 2 hours or something like that. But I feel like wouldn't it have been great just to spend a lot of the game just going back and forth to this, other area rather than going back to Jibbleife? But instead, I just plot, 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 plot. I have nothing else to do here. Get it done.
Exactly.
And then,
there were some people in Jubilife City that hadn't even received the news that you've been exiled and you were back in town. Hey, right. Save the day.
I don't know. I feel news travels particularly quickly in this game. There has been several moments where, like, you've just defeated Palkia. You have to go back to town or something like that, or you have to go and meet up with people who've somehow teleported back to the camp before you have managed to get to the camp. And then they're like, oh, wow, we just heard you defeated Palkia. And like, it was 30 seconds ago. I haven't even moved them into my party yet. How do you know this? How do other people know this?
Well,
and have told you
they
through
do,
the grapevine.
They do say when you go to the different areas, they do say like, oh, there's a security patrol that will go with you. So it is like hours, days to go from Jubilife to these things. But yeah, I mean, how do they get it? Abra.
Yeah.
Just get yourself an Abra. So yeah, I thought it was interesting. I was interested in the story and kind of keen to see where it goes. And what's really nice is you start the game with a village where everyone's like, "Oh, Pokemon will come and kill you." There's an early mission where you show a Starly to a woman. Like, do you want to touch my Starly? And she kind of runs away. And then by the end of the game, you've gone and done loads of missions and stuff like that, and the Jubilife is filled out with different Pokemon. And I wish, I don't know, it would have been spoiled, but I'd wish I'd known that, I'll go and catch this guy a Wurmple, and then he'll sit with that Wurmple and evolve it for the rest of the game, because it would have been great to have given him an Alpha Wurmple.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Shiny Wurmple.
I know. So the other thing that we need to talk about is the boss battles and my rampant dislike for them.
Yeah, so I was kept quite up to date with your progress in the game because I just get a string of texts. You start with like, this boss fight. Oh god, bullshit, rubbish, done.
I'm fucking never playing this game ever again. Oh well.
And then an hour later, like, okay, yeah, I'm over my. Screw this game. I'm never playing it again. So you had some issues with the boss battles in a way that I didn't at all.
Yeah, probably because you're patient and played them the way that they're supposed to be played.
No, not really. I just didn't. The only one I struggled with was Lilligant, which other people have said, "Oh, I didn't even."
I didn't even think about Lilligant at all.
I didn't even have to have a battle with it. I just pelted it with Dews.
Yeah. I mean, I did that with Avalugg as well. And it's just much quicker than getting into a battle. But of course, spending an hour to perfect actually how to get that. But so
talk about the boss battles.
Yeah, so a couple of things. This is where it makes it feel like a GameCube game for me. It's very, very clunky movement. Of course, there is the dodge and invincibility, which is great. That's fantastic. But
just put it into context a little bit. So the rest of the game, you're running around, stealthily catching Pokemon. If you want, you can throw your Pokemon out to battle them. And then you get these boss fights, which is essentially you versus a big Pokemon.
It's a classic boss fight situation,
Yeah.
And you have to pelt it with bags of things and weaken it or get rid of its frenzy because it's bright yellow.
Yeah, it's been struck by lightning from the time.
And you get typical boss mechanics. You don't stand in the fire. That sort of stuff.
Don't stand in, unlike normal life. Don't stand in the fire.
yeah. This is fine. The meme. No. But yeah, I really, really got frustrated with a couple of them.
Yes.
Specifically the Avalug one. That was really, really frustrating because you do have options on how to take down Avalug.
Yeah.
But in order to actually do it the quickest and fastest way, you got to go as close as possible to him and then just dodge. But of course, the camera and the fact that you have to free throw as well make that a very, very hard thing to do. Now, you could argue that I just made that hard for myself. Why don't you just stand right at the back and then just wait?
Yeah.
I don't have the patience. My ADHD compilations just do not allow me. I tried it. And I was like, right, okay, here comes the crystals, do the thing. Okay, go forward. Fine. Like, fuck, this isn't fun. And it was the same with, what's it called? Electrode as well. I was brute forcing that for so long, and it's just, it was so hard. And it wasn't fun. Until basically I found out that you could stand inside him and just throw.
All you have to do is like dodge the Voltorbs and then just walk up to him, help him, dodge the Voltorb. Yeah.
But yeah, there was a level of RNG involved in that dodging, which made it. Yeah, there was. Yeah, there definitely was. So he was set. Listen, don't. There was like electrical things on the ground, and if you dodged them, you could actually dodge yourself straight into another Voltorb that was exploding, and through no fault of your own, you know. So there is a level of RNG that was very, very frustrating there.
I think it's interesting we've had completely different experiences.
But anyway, very, very jarring, completely unlike the rest of the game, except for you are throwing things. It is the least fun part of this game, and I hope in any future versions of it they completely eliminate that boss fight nonsense.
Yeah.
Because it was just unwieldy. It felt clunky. It felt like you were just throwing these mechanics into a GameCube game, and you're like, this isn't good. This is not a fun way, because you don't move particularly fast, and it just I don't know.
Yeah. It's not especially, it's essentially the progression blocker between regions, but there are genuinely when things have gone tits up in the field, encounters that were more memorable than fighting Lilligant. That time. Yeah,
exactly.
Like, go and catch this Togepi, and then an Ursaring got enraged, and then a psychic Paris from halfway across the map joins in the fray, and you're out with your training team, and you're like, okay, I want to capture this Togepi. They get 3 turns for every turn of mine. That was more, more epic and more of a narrative than I'm going to stand in the corner of the arena and
balls of things.
Help, and then move on.
Yeah. Anyway, I think that's where we should stop on Arceus. On a lovely negative note.
It's really good.
But let's finish our Pokédexes. Let's get our Arceuses and see if there is any resolution. I hope this is going to be a sequel.
See if you get to make the leap home.
Yeah. But speaking of sequels,
dun dun dun. So, as many of you probably don't know, this year has been the 25th year of the Pokemon franchise, and some people have been a little bit unfair in saying they've done absolutely nothing for the 25th year, whereas if you look at my opinion, it's pretty much been non-stop. I think we've got really used to Pokemon stuff going on all the time. There were several weekends where we had a new game, a community day, some event in Sword and Shield, some new thing for Pokemon Masters EX. occasionally like a really weird music thing would come out. Anyway, the February the 27th is Pokemon Day, and so it's normally some kind of celebration, and this one technically ends the 25th year of Pokemon. And so they've announced a week full of announcements, some of which probably don't care about very much. Pokemon Masters EX, there's some stuff going on. But tomorrow, in our timeline, there is some announcement.
So, tomorrow in our timeline. So this is Monday,
yes,
21st.
Spoilers.
The podcast is going out on the 23rd.
Yeah.
So all
Yesterday.
of our conjecture is all right now. It's only this is a tiny little bubble, its own little dimension. Yeah.
Pokemon Legends, Rich and Farley Spectre. So there's an announcement now. Bearing in mind that on the 23rd it's a Pokemon Cafe Mix remix announcement. On the 24th it's Pokemon Unite. These are not going to be huge things. I don't even know what the announcement today was. But for example, but
was it not Pokemon Cafe?
It's Pokemon Masters EX, but I don't know what.
Oh yeah.
I don't know
Okay,
what the
fair
actual
enough.
announcement was. But yeah, so it's got people interested in speculating because there's an announcement related to Pokemon Sword and Shield tomorrow.
To Sword and Shield. So whereas everybody has been like, oh my god, it might be Gen 9. This is a Sword and Shield announcement.
Now, before we get too carried away, it might well be, there's a download a Dynamax Crystal to get an EV. Pokemon Day. Or it might exactly. Just get a completely average Bidoof, no hidden ability, no special moves, just bog standard Bidoof for Pokemon Day.
Okay, but that's not fun to think about it.
No, it's not.
Let's go down the craziest potential conjecture, complete hopeful scenario, which is they are going to announce an expansion to Sword and Shield.
Yeah, so it's the missing third expansion, which finishes the dex, brings back Mega Evolution, brings back Z moves. What else does it bring back?
It brings back. Are you ready for this one? This is my bombshell. This is my hot take. Are you ready for this?
Is it original racist Jinx color?
No. It's going to bring back Hoopa, who's going to bring back Hisuian Pokemon to Sword and Shield.
Oh, you think backwards compatibility? Forwards compatibility?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're just going to bring in all of the same models. Should be fairly easy. And then just straight up bring in Hisuian Pokemon, the ones that are missing, and do some dimension stuff. Be great fun. With Hoopa.
With Hoopa, yeah. And finally, acknowledge Pokemon XD and Colosseum by having Mirror be one of the other weird proportion characters also hop through the dimension door.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, once we're in Conjecture Land, Pokemon Sword and Shield 2.
Yeah, that's a possibility. They could just do a whole brand new base game with more Pokemon in it.
Yeah, like do a platinum or an emerald.
Yeah, start at a different point in the game and work backwards.
Yeah, slightly different Pokedex again.
Yeah.
We shall see. It could also be, which some people have been speculating about, and there's some leaky type rumor. It could be, instead of the jungle expansion as we've suggested, it could be the stadium expansion. So it just becomes where competitive is. So you can use any Pokemon.
I tend to agree that that's going to be the case. Yeah.
You can use any of your Pokemon from Pokemon Home. So you can use your Hisuians, you can use your Skidoos and Go-Goats, but you won't be able to run around with them and do everything else you do with them. It will just be the fighting thing to try and inject a bit of energy into a competitive scene for another couple of years if this is going to be where it sits.
Yeah, because I think the PvP stuff does need to be improved on, and I think whatever expansion we get, the Dimension Jungle Hisuian expansion, whatever it is, will definitely include something like that. And I think just have the different battles, have the option to do mega battles, have the option to do all of these other things, and it doesn't always need to be about Dynamax in this game as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's I'm excited to see what it could be, but ultimately you are so right that it could be get 3 rare candies.
It'll be
with
it'll
this.
You can now get 3 heavy balls in Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Yeah. For the first time, get a snag ball.
Yeah. Can you imagine?
Cannot actually snag in game.
Ornamental only, not for Pokemon catching purposes. Which actually, you remind me to talk about PvP. One of the things I quite like about Arceus is I can see an endpoint for it, for me playing it, unlike these other games which are going on thousands of hours now. And it's completely single player. I mean, there's a nice bit of tiny online thing in the satchels.
Where you're collecting the satchels, or you can trade with your friends as well.
You can trade with your friends, but
it's pointless. So pointless.
Yeah.
Like the trade evolutions, you can just find them, and the trade evolution items, you don't need to trade anymore.
You can also find them, and if you can't find them, you can just buy them. So yeah, you can complete the Pokédex of this game. There aren't 2 versions like there are almost all the other ones, and a bit of me, we'll see if they mess it up with DLC or whatever. A bit of me is like, great, I can see a point where filled out the Pokédex, perfect the Pokédex maybe, and it will just be going in to run around, have some fun, see if I can find a shiny or a shiny alpha or whatever, and hop out, but not the 53 hours in and I've just unlocked end game and now it's time for 900 more hours of
Battle Tower,
hidden abilities and EV training and breeding.
Oh yeah, of course.
All of that's gone.
You can't even breed in this game either.
No.
Which makes me worry about the starters actually.
Oh, have you not worked it out yet?
Oh, no.
You'll get there.
Okay, is just like speak to Dude Face and get it again or something like that?
You'll work it out. You'll be excited when it happens.
Alright, okay, cool. Good.
Great.
Well, that's it then.
Yeah, that's a big old positive.
Yeah, I mean, the worst part is this episode is going to go out when, tomorrow we get the announcement of the focus band that you get for free through mystery code.
Yeah, and we can't even if we'd said it on this podcast, don't look at the news until you hear this podcast. It will be too late.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was that Pokemon Masters news? It's got to be at that level. That's where I'm pitching it.
Oh god. Right, okay, cool. That guy's a maniac.
Why did he try to snag me?